And
People
now
of the
your feature
universe.
presentation.
There we go. People of the universe, you're tuning into the It's Not a Podcast. It is the one and only Philip the Jr. And I have my right hand, my strong right hand, the hand of the podcaster, that black guy, Caesar J. Talk to the people.
What's happening, everybody? Good morning. Good morning.
What happening? How are things your way, sir?
All's well. Just trying to recover from a quick work trip this week, but everything is going well, man.
That's wonderful, man. Got a kid with bronchitis right now, so dealing with that. Yeah, man. Little nasty ass kids at daycare. But he's good. Honestly, if it wasn't for a fever he had a couple of days ago, you wouldn't know he's sick because he running around playing, doing what he normally do. So he's getting the amoxicillin, getting the antibodies in him.
Yeah.
Trying to get him healed up so his ass can go back to daycare on Monday because I will be off on Monday. So I want time to be at the house by my damn self and start my Game of Thrones rewatch.
I dig, man.
Starting season 1, episode 1. In it for the long haul. But yeah, man, we were supposed to have a guest on. Hopefully he listens to the podcast after this airs. Jordan, tis, man.
This
Thought
two
you was gonna
times.
hop on.
This two times.
Yeah, this is the second time, but I understand, man. So Mal, I know you don't do the social medias like that anymore outside of your scholarship foundation you got going on. Have you heard about the Jussie Smollett incident?
I have not. Please inform me.
Do you know who Jussie Smollett is?
I remember his original acting debut was in Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
But yes, I am familiar. And as of late, he plays a young man, one of the sons from. Oh wow! Don't tell me that was it. It's the hood soap opera show.
Add music to it.
Yeah. It's like
today's podcast is brought to you by Dasani. Drink water.
Don't drink it with
they don't have no.
Dasani got.
They don't have no slogan on there.
Don't listen to him.
It does. It actually does, because when I opened this shit, it said, I was like, am I tripping?
No.
Bruh, I'm dehydrated from last night, so this was the only bottle of water.
All right, look, I did.
Actually, when I'm feeling real bougie, I fuss with Fiji. Because the first time I had it, it was like life was just flowing through me. You know what I'm saying? Almost like, I guess, when a girl swallows, it was just literally life. Just flowing down.
Will it take me under?
So yeah, he's on the show Empire, and he plays a gay character, but he also is gay in RL in real life.
And he's not a gay character. He's a character that is gay.
You know what? Cool. I'm trying to be an ally to the LGBTQI community. So he's a character. What did you say? He's a character who happens to be gay?
Yes, exactly. Like, character is what he is. Like, being gay is just in addition to it.
There you go.
Gay isn't his embodiment for that particular role.
He's a son, an entrepreneur, a singer, a brother, an uncle, just an all-around good man.
Yeah, exactly. All that.
Cliff note: he likes men. But when I was watching it, that was a small time where him and Alicia Keys had a little thing going on, and I was
On
like,
what? On Empire?
on Empire, yeah.
Oh, see, I ain't watched it since episode 2. I was like, nope, this is too much. I can't take it.
I think I stopped after season 2 because I actually it was like, okay, it's not bad, but I'm gonna give it a try. But after season 2, I was like, LTS. I did try to watch an episode or 2 of Star, because of the white girl that was on there. Don't judge me, but I was like, nah, I'm good on this stuff. You know, you want to support, black shows and black movies, but if you just don't like it, you know what I'm saying, you just don't like it. And
agreed.
Which stick a pin in that. We're gonna talk about Amanda Seales stand-up. Have you seen it yet?
No, is it good?
That's why we're gonna talk about it.
Baby.
Because wanting to support black but not necessarily enjoying it made me think about it. If I'm leading the witness.
I understand.
Gotcha. So Jussie Smollett, he was there was an alleged attack on him in Chicago earlier this week. He said there were people with ski masks who basically jumped him, poured chemicals on him that ended up being bleach. So I don't know how much regular bleach does to your body if somebody just tries to pour it on you. But when I heard chemicals, I'm thinking like fucking battery acid or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So they beat him up and, called him a mag that starts with the F, called him a cigarette in the UK. And
you stupid.
Other homophobic slurs. And then, there was like, this is MAGA country or some shit like that.
Oh, Lord. Did they not know that some of their MAGA counterparts would possibly be labeled as a mag with an F?
It's not a lot of, one would assume that there would be a very small population of those people who support Trump.
You went to high school with me. You know, some of the games they play are sus.
That blame the Romans on that because that was fucking little kids before they went off to war. Know your history.
Sus.
But I would flip it this way and say, just because he's black doesn't mean that he doesn't support Trump. Because if you look at the black Republicans, that were at the White House a while back, there was a large quantity of black people there. And to just simply attack a black man, because you're a Trump supporter is foolish.
Yeah.
But Hollywood came out in support, and I like what Steve Harvey said. He was like, man, listen, whatever you want to do, we ready to ride. He was like, I ain't saying that we trying to do any violence, anything like that, but we ready to ride. But the conversation I want to have with you is, have you ever been a victim of a racial attack like such?
First, if I may, I would like to maybe use a replacement word for racist and use prejudice. And in that aspect, yes, I have. And the reason I say prejudice, and the reason I use prejudice because I think a lot of times it has less to do with your race and more to do with a prejudgment based on secondhand stories, how certain groups, I guess, maneuver around other groups. But yeah, when I was let's see, that was probably third, fourth grade, give or take. The main playground out front at ATS. Yeah, man.
Oh, talking about, we don't know our history because apparently Hubbard was the first Black vocational school in the state of Georgia.
No, I know.
We
You
don't do
don't
a
know
good
your history.
That cool. I don't. But if I don't, then that means there are others who don't as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And we don't do a good enough job of sharing that history. But
yeah, and
I digress.
and that was part of the Hubbard Day celebration, is to celebrate that. That's why they started having it. Was due to that fact. Like before, there was if memory serves me correct, before Fort Valley, it was it was Hubbard. Now, also on their front playground, and I'll try to keep this as vague as possible. One of my mother's coworkers, kid and nephew, something to that effect, calls themselves handling the situation by spitting on me repeatedly. And it was a situation where I ain't Spider-Man, but I was in a high spot and I couldn't get down on either side or so I didn't think I could. So yeah.
So how do you think that shaped your views of people who look like those kids?
I was fortunate enough to, I think, have the mind and probably the adult guidance to hold the individual accountable and not their kinship. Yeah, so that's
very big of you. It's very big of
like
you.
That's my situation now. Now, is it something that I guess use as a guide to maneuver? Yes, you know what I'm saying. I don't think it's ever left my mind that it could be a possibility, but I don't come in the door thinking that's gonna happen to me again. I put it that way. Like it's one of those where I'd be less shocked now than I was.
Makes sense.
All those years ago.
Yeah, I've never been physically attacked. I don't even think I've been verbally attacked like that, but I do think that it's possible that maybe some nefarious things like that were going on behind the scenes that I just didn't know about. But as far as like blatant prejudice or racist or racism like that, haven't been a part of. But if you were Jesse's friend, how do you think you would handle that situation? Would you be like, "Hey man, listen, if you're ready to ride, let's go," or would you kind of try to talk him off the ledge if that was his mind state?
I think I would. I think I would be in support of however he chose to move, but I also would ask all the hard questions. Like, okay, so you want to react? That's today. And are you going to feel the same way 6 to 8 weeks down the road? Because just because you get over it by doing whatever it is that you want to do doesn't mean that it's going to be over. So consider that fact. It's just because you didn't retaliate and you like, I'm done, doesn't mean that it's over. That's one thing you have to always consider when you react to something, is that when you get over it doesn't mean that it's over. And with that, you should move according to that thought. Like, all right, how long do I want to keep this going? Do I want to be a catalyst of prolonging it, or do I want to be a catalyst of not it not being something that perpetuates?
Right. For me, I'm not a very violent person. I don't think I've ever been into a real fisticuffs, except for maybe once in 5th grade. Me and Willie B got into a little tussle, and that was about it. But it was on some dumb shit, you know what I'm saying? So, and it wasn't even that much to really talk about. But
Yeah.
but yeah, so I don't know. I honestly don't know how I would probably respond to it. But me not being a violent person like that, I definitely would, like you said, just try to talk them down and ask the tough questions. But I would also want to make sure that I give him or her, whomever, the space to kind of deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Because I think too many times when people are going through stuff, we try to um, divert their attention to other things instead of kind of like dealing with the issue. Because if he just deals with it now in his head, gets it all out, addresses his anger, addresses his pain, I think it'll be easier to move on from than him kind of harboring the ill will for the next 10 years. But something like that is going to stick with you, man. Like I said, I've never been in an altercation like that, but I could imagine that in the moment, you're probably thinking like, am I about to die?
Yeah, probably.
So I can definitely understand how they could fuck you up.
Yeah, for sure. Like anything that takes you to that extreme of a thought, you know what I'm saying, is going to be something that unfortunately you carry with you, whether it be consciously or subconsciously, you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that I don't believe people consider when they carry out those type of acts. Like it's never a consideration of um replacing not replacing, but you being in those shoes, and or the fact that it might be, you doing it for shits and giggles and think, they'll be okay. It could have been worse, but you don't understand. You don't understand what may have preceded your actions in this person's life. So that could be the camel that breaks the straw. Damn, the straw that breaks the camel's back.
The straw that get his back broke by the camel.
Big facts.
So yeah, since we're on the topic of LGBTQ and whatnot, I went to a bar that I frequent, and they had a drag show last night.
Okay.
And I've been to one drag event before, if I'm not mistaken. No. I was at a Halloween party, and there were some people there in drag. So I've been around it before. It's whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, one thing I will notice is at times the people dressed in drag can be a little forceful with people. And I guess they can get away with it because that's a part of the culture. I don't know. That makes me feel a little uncomfortable, and it scares me to say that out loud, because I almost feel like, well, that's homophobic. Well, no, if a woman is walking around and men are being aggressive towards them and they feel uncomfortable, that's like, duh. Like, why wouldn't you feel uncomfortable?
Yeah.
But my question is, can you support the LGBTQ community but still be uncomfortable or unsure if you want to be an environment where a drag show is going on?
Yeah, I can't see why you couldn't be the two. If you're in what is uncharted territories, typically you're going to be uncomfortable. It's not an indication of hate. It's a indication of um, not being in a situation that you can fully map out, so that you can maneuver. Uh, However, the powers that be for that situation dictate as being proper. Like. Yeah, I don't see the two aren't dependent upon each other. You being comfortable and you being supportive of a particular community is two different things. Like I would imagine um, if let's say I were white, but I felt as though the treatment of blacks was bad, but this is my first, for the lack of another group, this is my first Black Lives Matter rally that I'm going to attend. I'm going to be uncomfortable just because I know that there's going to be parties there that may not understand that I am there as Brother Killer Mike would say, as an ally. So it's not, again, it's not an indication of my stance on the situation. It's just I don't know how to do this. This is new to me. This is uncharted territories. First day in the weight room, guess what? You uncomfortable because you don't know how to do shit.
This is it's eerie how like-minded we are with certain things, because I posted that question to Instagram and did a poll. Now, the first question I asked was, can you support Black Lives Matter but be nervous in the hood? Okay. And 63% said yes, and 37% said no. And then I asked, that was my excuse for asking this question. I said, can a straight person support the LGBTQ movement and still be uncomfortable around drag? And it was 63% yes, 37% no. And I actually had a friend of mine reach out to me and say, well, why would you feel uncomfortable? And I was like, well, matter of fact, let me just pull up the message. I don't think they have an issue with it. Let's say this is a very valid question. I was like, yeah, a bar I go to is having a drag show, and I really want to go hang out at the bar. I was like, it's no different than a white person. I say it's no different than me being around preppy white people. I never really feel comfortable around them, but I don't dislike white people, if that makes any sense. Just like, definitely understand, but I definitely understand what you're saying. But what makes you feel uncomfortable? Is it a feeling of guilt by association? And I was like, okay, that's a unique question, because that could kind of show some of that misogynistic, toxic masculinity to not want to be around that. But no, that's not the issue for me. It just, I guess, the unknown, or that's not my comfort zone, makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, anything outside of your comfort zone makes you uncomfortable. Again, you being uncomfortable it's not uncomfortable, and negative outlook aren't the same thing.
There you go.
Like you may be let's see. First day of school. Let's say first day of class in college. You may not be comfortable, but that doesn't mean that you hate school.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to think. I was trying to think of something that a larger quantity of people could possibly relate to, because that's how you get true answers from people. You put it on something that they utilize, or that they it's already a part of their life, and ask them in that aspect, because then you'll see if they're gonna waver or if they're gonna hold fast, because motherfuckers love to switch up.
Man, but the funny part about it is, when we got there, it was already going on, and it was actually going on outside.
Okay.
And we ran into your classmate, LP, and we'll talk about that offline.
Hey ho.
Was not impressed. Not impressed.
Must be falling off. Roll hard, put away wet.
Listen, so it was outside. So we're kind of there. You got one person, this person had on a big wig and there.
Vogue. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, they doing their thing, and then of course playing some Diana Ross.
I still don't
And
understand
then
how she came to be the face of
well,
music for a particular community.
just thinking about it in the split second of it, I think drag probably became popular when she was popular.
So
So
disco.
most people wanted to emulate her.
Okay. And I was
Yeah,
gonna go to she's really known for her wardrobe changes. As I was talking it out, it hit me. The wardrobe
yeah,
changes. That's it. That's it.
yeah. Just like I would assume the newer drag culture may be influenced more by like a Lady Gaga, a Beyonce, maybe a Miley Cyrus, maybe Ariana Grande,
Yeah.
Pink, somebody like that, because they're, you know, they're what's popular in the pop culture right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was going on outside. We kind of looked, see what was going on. It was actually pretty crowded because, you know, if you got something going on the sidewalk like that, DJ set up outside, you know, it's going to get people's attention. So some people were standing around walking. So it was like, all right, it's cold, FTS, let's go inside. So we went inside, hung out, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We're that what's her name? Fantasia, When I See You. Know what I'm talking about?
When I see you, Fantasia. You're talking about Fantasia from South Carolina with the lips. Used to be with big
Yeah.
Young Dro.
Did not know that. But yeah, the one that from American Idol fame.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was playing, but the live version of that was playing. And you know, being in the band, when I hear live music, my ears perk up.
Yep.
Sorry. Let's turn it inward. My ears perk up. Sorry, Jordan.
No disrespect.
Yeah. My ears perk up. So I go outside and I'm like, man, this shit right. So this person did a whole Fantasia set. So I can't remember what the next song was, but that shit, the dude that was on the drums,
Yeah.
he was in it. I mean, he stand in the pocket and then the bass he was there. Yeah, so I was like, so it was funny because it was a gay dude, like 2 steps forward, 2 steps left. And I guess he was one of the coordinators. And he saw me vibing. So I guess he was like, what's for dinner? And not me. But he was over there dancing. And like, I don't know why, but if you've ever been around skinny white dudes, their move is always to be like this, like looking over their back, like they got something back there. And I was like, okay, whatever. And so then some other girl came over there and started talking to him, and he was dancing to her. But I was like, do people think that I'm into the drag show because of the way I'm vibing to it?
Yeah.
Or do they think I'm just listening to the music? And then I began to be a little self-conscious. And then I was like, man, I'll probably never see these people again. You know what I'm saying? If they assume, let them assume, because they don't know. Yeah. But whatever that playlist was, the shit hit. So that's why my black ass was out there.
Yeah. But like for a situation like that, I think everyone should maneuver in the manner that if they assume, then they don't care that much, because people who care ask.
Yeah.
So if they ain't asking, they don't care. Do what you do. Have a ball.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to know, they'll ask. And if they want to assume, they don't care. They was gonna run with a lie regardless.
I was very surprised at how many perceived straight men were there and was just kind of like, cool, you know. Yeah. And I think that caught me off guard because I'm in Macon. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't expecting to see so many people that were cool with it. Yeah. And I think that's a good thing. I think that is I think that is awesome.
Yeah. Like that's hopefully a sign of people realizing that we're all humans and some of us just happen to have a different preference.
Mm-hmm.
And not people have preference and they're humans. Like
Right.
you was a human before you knew you had a preference.
You know, the only issue I have with drag is that the makeup looks hideous. But I understand
Typically.
that's a part of. I
But
have to
that could
understand
just
that's a
be,
part of it.
yeah, but I think that could just be because it's making drag. Because I would like to think in the city, uh, they would be as as the ladies would say at Grambling, beat.
Beat down. Oh, your face is beat down. No, I don't know. I think the culture is just to be over the top with the makeup.
Yeah,
So it's like it's almost like we're gonna cross dress, but we're also going to not try to be exactly like a woman, if that makes any sense. So there's it's clear that we're dressing as a woman, but it's also clear that we're not trying to be like women, if that makes any sense.
yeah.
And then they can also be kind of masculine with some of their dance moves are a little bit harder at times. That was this one dude that was in like a Madonna looking 2-piece leather penny top set. And when he came out there, I was like, dude, you was over the top right now.
Yeah,
The
but
one that was
for him, that might be spot on though.
right. I'm sorry. If I had a preference in drag,
For your taste, he's over the top.
yeah. The one that was dancing to the Fantasia,
Yeah.
oh, that nigga was hidden. I was like, you doing that? Because like, you know, he was lip syncing. So like the faces that Fantasia make and the mannerisms and all that stuff, spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on. And then there was an old dude that was there, or yeah, he was a dude, but he didn't have any teeth from like here back on both sides at the top.
Yeah.
And then on the bottom, instead of his teeth being like this, they were kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? So I felt bad for him because wasn't nobody talking to him. Everybody was worried about the one that was over the top, the one that did Fantasia, and then the one with the big afro that was there when we first got there.
Yeah.
But it was cool, man. I had a good time. I actually saw a lot more people there, a lot of new people there. Like there weren't a lot of old faces at this spot. So yeah, so that was pretty cool, man. But is there a drag scene over there in Germany like that, or is that kind of not the move?
To the best of my knowledge, there's a huge drag scene over here. And just because like and mind you, I know my statement comes with a certain degree of ignorance, but like Europeans are just freer people. So there's not as much I guess shitting on other walks of life. You know, you walk your path, boom. As long as you keep it in your path, or you know what I'm saying, you don't forcefully involve anyone else, no one really cares. So people do what they want to do. Yeah, like I was checking out one of these episodes of I think her name's Aman Ampor. She's like a CNN reporter lady. But she has a series on Netflix called it's like Love and Sex Around the World or some shit like that. And she hits different cities and different cultures. And the one she hit for Germany, she just happened to be in Berlin, and it talks about how that's a huge, that's a huge facet of life. You know what I'm saying? Drag is a thing.
Yeah, it's called Love and Sex Around the World.
Boom.
I'm disappointed because this algorithm should have came up and told me about this.
Yeah,
they're slacking.
Look, I was like, let me check this out because it gives you an inside view of how different cultures move when it comes to those things. Like I didn't know it was taboo to say I love you in Japanese culture. Like
Yeah, they're not big on
emotion at all.
affection like that.
Yeah,
And like even when they laugh, they they
yeah,
gotta
yeah,
cover their mouth and all that stuff.
yeah.
I learned that on Law and Order because this chick stole something from a jewelry store, and it was like she can't be a real Japanese person because they would have covered. No, when they smile, it's like
Yeah,
she would have covered her mouth when she smiled. And I
yep.
was like, oh, okay. So that
Uh,
one random
mhm.
random fact, where the hell is my neighbor going? Uh, stuck in my mind. I'm sorry, yeah, look, I see a light out the window, and I'm like, the fuck? But yeah. So moving on, I watch a show called Married at First Sight.
Man, I heard about that. I seen
I,
wow.
it does, and it is. I would suggest every married couple watch at least one season of this show. Because the conversation background, man, woman, men, women come together, put their names in a barrel, doctors, scientists, therapists, any other ist come together, and they find people who should be compatible based off of their wants and their desires and how they live, yada yada yada. They do background checks on these people, so like no
Mhm.
crazy people or anything like that. Um, but they pair you up with somebody. It's like, hey, we found a match for you. You're getting married in 2 weeks. I'm the man. I'm standing there at the altar. The first time I see my fiance, who's about to be my wife, is when she walks down the aisle. So it's literally, oh, what's up, Jane Doe? I'm Philip. How you doing? How you doing, Dad? Thank you so much. Um, cool. We get married. We go through the reception. We go through our wedding night. Some people have sex on the first night. Some people don't. Then they go on a honeymoon like a regular couple. They come back home. They end up moving together, living together. And I think it's like a 2-month process. And then at the end of that 2-month process, they decide if they want to stay married or get an annulment. And it's cool because especially when they first meet, the scientists and the therapists are getting them to talk about things that you would think that married couples talk about, but you
Yeah,
realize some of these conversations are things that people don't talk about in a marriage, or it maybe comes up, but it's not a focal point. So there's one couple, we're talking about finances and talking about paying the bills and things of that nature. Now, clearly on this show, they try to get people who are established, can handle themselves. You don't want to have
hmm
somebody, a stockbroker and then somebody, working at a fast food restaurant. Not anybody that works at a fast food restaurant, but I'm just trying to use drastic extremes. Um, and so the girl was talking about finances and like, well, I would expect for the man to pay the bills and pay the mortgage. And he was like, 50-50. Cut to her doing her little, one-on-one confessional thing with the producer. She's like, well, I'm a strong, independent woman. She said strong, independent woman like 3 or 4 times. But for whatever reason, she felt like the man should take care of everything. So they kind of worked it out and they agreed to do like a 60-40 thing or like a 70-30 type situation. Um, so my question to you is, do you feel like it should be 50-50 with bills, or are you more of the old school, the man got to take care of everything, the wife just got to make sure they got eggs and bacon on the plate in the morning before you go to work? Or are you more of it's a fluid situation?
um, like for myself, I think I think it's more situational than just I have one method to apply to all relationships. Like if like for me, for example, um I kind of well not kind of I interrupted Nick's career
Mm-hmm.
to bring us to Germany. So to me it'd be kind of a dick move for me to be talking about some 50-50. And
Mm-hmm.
I ruined her way to um I guess to progress in her career track. Um so me being the catalyst for the move, I feel as though I should bear um most if not all the burden of whatever uh I guess entails the bills for us living, because
Mm-hmm.
it was on me that we came to Germany. So
Mm-hmm.
like but I think if it was a situation where both of us are, let's say, equally yoked in all facets, then I think it being 50-50 shouldn't be a big situation. I think if nothing else, it would allow the freedom for both parties to also enjoy their income as well. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
if it's 50-50, then you bear the burden of adulting, as I call it, but you also can still enjoy yourself based on whatever your salary or incomes are. Like
Yeah, yeah. My thing was like, I understand where the young lady's coming from. I mean, I get it. There are some people, especially because that's kind of how her father was, and I think people don't realize how much of an influence our parents have on our marriages,
mhm.
be it good or bad.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm thinking, okay, if I'm the man, clearly before we got together, I was surviving without you, so I'm okay by myself.
Hmm.
But now you're in the mix. Gas bill, light bill, water bill, mortgage, all that shit really ain't gonna change like that. Like, it's not gonna change drastically.
Yeah.
So I could do that. I can still pay for all those things because they're not changing drastically from what they were before.
Hmm.
However, what are the money that you bring home? What are you doing with it? I feel like if I'm going to to foot the bill on everything, I feel like your money should be straight to savings. Whatever debt we have, pay that debt off.
Yeah.
Like, if I can handle the car note, mortgage, bills, all that kind of stuff, credit card, student loans, pay that shit off at an accelerated rate,
Yeah.
or you to play fund, put 85% of that in savings, the other 25% go straight to a vacation account, or we trying to get renovations done to the house or something like that. Like, I don't feel like it should be a situation where
Yeah.
his money is our money and my money is my money, because
Yeah.
I've heard coworkers kind of talk like
Hmm.
that. Like,
Yeah.
that's my money. But ma'am, you don't I never hear you talk about cooking or cleaning or doing anything
Yeah.
special for
Yeah.
him. But because I don't know what this person does, but let's just say hypothetically, they work at a plant somewhere and they can get overtime, or they're a
Mhm.
truck driver or something like that. They
Yeah.
get extra bread like that. He got to foot everything, but that's your money. I'm like, nah, man, that's kind of
And
ass backwards.
yeah, and I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with that. That if if you so-called if you're in a so-called relationship, then the overall burden should be 50-50. Now, when I say that, it could be that you may not be in a situation to financially help out um, with the burden of living, of adulting.
Mm-hmm.
But where are you going to supplement it? If you can't help financially, then there's other aspects to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's making sure that like Nick, like I love that she is organized and keeps up with stuff, because
Mm-hmm.
paperwork and me, we are arch enemies. and I'm quick to misplace something or throw it in the trash just because I don't I don't hold those things in high priority. Oof, that was an adult statement of me to make. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, like if it's not something
We need to have
electronic,
a chime bell when we have these moments of peace and wisdom and understanding that happen.
yeah,
Well,
man.
I'll work on that.
Um, and I think for those young ladies who feel as though he got all the bills, he got that, and all my money is my money. I don't help with nothing else.
Hmm.
Then you need to be by yourself.
You know what? And we've had this conversation before. Well, I think I brought this up. I hate when people believe in the stereotypical or old-fashioned gender roles, and they believe in the gender roles for the male, but the female, you don't want to be
Exactly.
that old-fashioned woman that's gonna cook and
Yeah.
clean, or vice versa. The man, you want a woman that's gonna cook and clean, bust it open in the bedroom, but you're not trying to be out there bringing home the bacon.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be the king of the castle, but you're not you're not you're not doing anything that will make your subjects want to be loyal to your cause.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you can't like and let me rephrase. I don't think you should have the mindset that on one side of this equality, it ain't equal, but
Mm-hmm.
on your side, it need to be equal. Because it sounds to me like you don't want equality. You want 75-25.
Right. And that ain't gonna work.
And if you want to be 75-25, take your Pac-Man ass on and be single.
Yeah. I get it. I like that. Um, but in fairness to the young lady on the show, she did say, well, when dude was like, so you go cook and clean and have, all that good stuff. She was like, yeah, I would love to do that. So I can at least respect the fact that she was willing to hold up her end of the old fashioned gender roles.
Yeah.
So it's that person I have more respect for.
Yeah.
The other person or people that I hear about, I can't get with it. And it's funny because like I was talking to a coworker about it. She's a pastor or whatever, and I love our conversations because even though she's always going to put like the biblical aspect to it, because she's like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you about the word now, but I also live in the real life too. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
she believes that the man is the provider, but the woman is the intercessor for the house and all that good stuff.
She's
So
the
I
helpmate.
get right, exactly. So I
She's the
f's
main
with
helper.
that the long way. Um, but we were having this conversation, but she was like, basically, she was saying all that stuff. But then we got to a point where it was like, women have the option to find a man to take care of them. Men don't have that option to find a woman to take care of them, financially at least.
Yeah.
And do you feel like that would make a man less of a man if he found a woman that was going to be a sugar mama?
I'm glad you asked that question. So, um, a friend of mine, also a Graham fam, we were having the conversation, and she made a statement about her current boyfriend, uh, not or not wanting to make the mistake of not seeing him as a man, and I was like, "Ooh, I love statements like that." I was like, "Okay, so why is your definition of a man the singular and rigid definition of a man? Like a man, just like a woman, can be multiple definitions. There is not
Mm-hmm.
one definition of what a man is. Uh,
Yeah.
I think when we get into those that ideology of singular and dead
Monolith.
definitions, that's when we start having mistakes because a definition just like I guess just like an organization is a living thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Organizations, they start one way, but they metamorphosis based on the things that it is composed of. And I think saying that if a man doesn't, I guess, tick the boxes for what society has deemed him to be or the roles that he has played, and I guess in the historical reference, then we start making mistakes because I think the role of man and woman is more reflected upon the times than it is the people who are state making these statements. Like
Mm-hmm.
a man, decades ago, um, may have only been the hunter. Like as we aren't hunting anymore, does that mean that none of us are men? That only
Mm-hmm.
the select few people um, that hunt are actually men? Because what I'm saying, those are the things you have to consider. Like I don't think I don't think that you can one sided like that. That just doesn't it don't jive with me. Like uh
Speaking of the hunting thing, especially watching this Killer Mike trigger warning, and then just listening to the various interviews that he's done over the past week and a half, 2 weeks, doing the promo tour. I've kind of felt this way a while, but it's like I've struggled with my own, excuse me, with my own, I guess, definition of masculinity or being a man.
mhm.
Um, what I'm saying? I'm in a situation where Kim makes more than I do. When we first got together, I think I made a little bit more, but I was also in sales. So there was an opportunity to have like 2 or 3 months where we like busting heads, especially tax season and
Mhm.
back to school season.
Mhm.
Like every quarter, there was a month that
Mhm.
I would at least have a good month to make even more than what I was doing before. So when we first got together, I was making a little bit more. And when we got married, she actually couldn't work for 3 months. So it was that boom, kick in the door with the elk on your back.
Yeah.
Jane, me hungry, and she cook, clean, all that kind of good
Yeah.
stuff. And she was like, I actually, kind of like this. And in my head, I'm thinking, well, don't get used to it. but but yeah, we actually experienced that. But now, as things have changed and she finished, with her PhD. She actually makes more than I do now. I'm comfortable with that. I don't necessarily have an issue with that. But it's like I'm not a boxer. I can't fight. Like if somebody try her in public, I'm gonna have to take that ass whipping for you.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? I can't I'm not a handyman. So some break around the house, we may have to call somebody to fix it. Or my ass gonna be on YouTube trying to figure that shit out.
Yeah. End up being
Um,
like Heathcliff on the Cosby Show, trying to fix it and being tore it up.
See, but hey, I will say this though, to my credit, I fixed about 3 or 4 things around the house going on YouTube. So that's kind of a confidence booster. I don't fish, I don't hunt, so I literally can't bring home the bacon.
Okay.
So that's kind of played with my psyche a little bit, and I've had to kind of reevaluate that and think, what is it that she wants from her husband? What is it that she wants from her man? And what she wants from her man is love, affection, and understanding.
In that,
And as long as I'm providing that to her,
you are a
I'm
man.
all the man she needs.
Yeah. Exactly.
Excuse me. Just had a
Yeah. But
moment there.
and I think that just what you said should be the algebra equation to that question. Like if we stop trying to fall into the habit of groupthink and
Mm-hmm.
be the individuals that we are, because you can be an individual and still be within a community. I think we can stop hinging on other people's definitions of what you want for your life.
Mm-hmm.
Because just like just the statement you just made, I think if the question and conversation was had, like, what is it that you need and want from me? If people ask those type of questions and people are truthful with saying if they can provide that or and it's not a ability, but the want to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we're able to do anything, but it's the want that's going to fuel that vehicle to get from point A to point B. Um, I think that we as counterparts in society wouldn't have the same issues that we do now. Like we're lazy, and I think it's a natural phenomenon for humans to be lazy. So we grab what's closest to us because it's the easiest thing instead of having to look further or deeper into ourselves and to others. Um, yeah, man, like that. What you said, that's key. Like, what is it that you need from me? Because that for our relationship will be my identity as me being the man, or if even if it's gender reversed, or the woman in the relationship. If we can have that honest conversation to decide what it is that either needs, you know what I'm saying, no matter the makeup of it, whether it's hetero or homo, like like then we can be with the person that is going to best suit us versus the one that we want to be the person to best suit us.
Right. I, and it's funny. It's like I know that I meet the requirements because she's like, if a bug is in the house, I want you to kill a bug. If I can't reach something, grab it for me. If I can't figure out where I want to go eat, you tell me. You know what I'm saying? Like
that last one, that's every day, baby.
Man, listen, good God Almighty. So I know I'm meeting those requirements when it comes to that. But I still do want to hunt. I got a friend of mine, Dean. Shout out to Dean. He wants to take me bird hunting because I think he does like dove and quail and duck, maybe. Yeah. So definitely want to do that.
Do people hunt doves?
I believe they do.
Oh man.
But I definitely, because I got a 22. I don't know, but that's more so for like backyard rodents and whatnot. But I actually do want to get a hunting rifle. And I have to go through the process of getting my hunting license and all that good stuff. But I have a couple of people who have offered to let me go hunting with them. Honestly,
don't let them train you.
If I'm being honest, I would much rather go with somebody that looks like me to hunt, but I don't have any associates that look like me that do the hunting that the people who don't look like me are willing to do and who have offered. But I wouldn't go with them if I didn't trust them either, though. Like on a serious note. But in the back of my head, it's always like, if that spoon start circling around the
Get
mud,
out of my head, bro. Because I was in my head, I was like this.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Man. All right. So I said stick a pin. We got to go back. Amanda Seales, I Be Knowing comedy stand-up special is on HBO now, or HBO Go now. And I started watching like 15 minutes of it, but in my head, I knew like I wasn't into it. Like I didn't necessarily feel like watching it at the time. But I was let me just check it out, whatever. It wasn't bad the minutes that I saw, but at the same time I was like, I'm not enjoying this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and watch Bill Maher because Marshawn Lynch was on Bill Maher last week. And I felt bad because I like Amanda Seales. I want to support her. But for my brand of comedy, I don't think she fits the bill. But it almost feels like I'm being a hater by saying that, because it's like, you can't support your black sister, your black queen, blah, blah, blah. Because that's kind of how she roll anyway. But I guess for you, how do you balance your pro-black, I want to support the cause, with this just ain't my style, this ain't my taste, so soft pass, like with you in Empire after season 2? It's like, I'm through. So how do you balance that?
I balance it by keeping my opinion for me and making sure that when I express it, that I don't put a sinking tab on it. Like for Empire, I've never told anyone not to watch it. I just tell them it ain't for me.
Gotcha.
Like that's to me that that is how I don't damage the progression um of being pro black is by not taking away their opportunities because I don't feel as though it's something that I want to support further. You know what I'm saying? For me to give it the opportunity, I think that's where a lot of us make the mistake. We don't even give it the opportunity
Yeah.
to influence you to want to carry it further. Like we see that Rico Johnson owns it, and we're like, nah, I don't know, because Bob Dillinger of the Making Dillingers, he got the same situation over there, and his establishment looks a little bit nicer. The food probably
Yeah.
plain as hell. It's probably bland as hell, but because it's in a nicer establishment, what I'm saying, we're more willing to support it because it looks right. Like and for those people who hit you with that, oh, you don't want to support your black sister, would they eat at any restaurant with roaches?
Right.
Like
Right.
if it doesn't suit you, then why would you do it just to do it? Make your support of something meaningful. Don't water it down just doing it just to do it.
Oh, without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. Because I had a lot of people that try to be on this pro black tip. And I'm like, all right. All right. That's just my response, because at the end of the day, it's easy to jump on the bandwagon and just try to say something for the hell of it, but what are you actually doing? Or what are you not doing? I think that's more of the question. But yeah, like there are a lot of times where it's like I want to give the black person or the black business the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong. And if I ain't messing with it, I ain't messing with it.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily feel like my black card should be revoked because there's a black barbecue joint and a white barbecue joint, and I like the white barbecue joint more. Now, if it's neck and neck, my brother, I'm coming with you all day.
Yeah.
But if if um if Bob Schwartz ribs is busting, then call me kosher, baby, because I'm all in there.
Yeah, and that's like, as long as, like, I think for when you're making the decision, um, you have to consider what it is you're making a decision about. Is it the
Right.
product, or is it the transportation to the product? You know what I'm saying? Like,
There
is
you
it the
go.
process or the
Exactly.
product? Because if the product is busing, that's what you paying for. You ain't necessarily paying for the service. Yeah, um, with certain industry, they try to package it in there like you paying for the service. But unless it's a service industry, like somebody is delivering something to you, or catering, or
Mm.
something like that, then it ain't the service that you're paying for. You're paying for the product, and if the product is good, get off all the other stuff.
Or
Well,
the
yeah,
ambiance too, though, because that's why some people go to Hooters over any other wing spot.
yeah,
People easily go to God, Wingstop, because them wings gonna be 10 times better than Hooters. But
yep.
people go to Hooters
Because
for
of
the
them
Hooters.
yabos. For them yabos.
But they got them flat backs though.
Oh man. In the basket and walking around.
Say that. Um, did you see the Killer Mike interview on the Breakfast Club?
Nah, but I was getting ready to click on it last night, and Nick was like, let's wait to listen to the podcast on the way to the airport tomorrow. So uh I will
Wait a
digest.
minute. Okay, gotcha. So you're gonna listen to it on iHeart or whatever, or they actually have a
Uh
podcast for their
uh
interviews.
so you can listen to it on iHeart, but it's also on Podcast Addict if you want to download
Android.
it. It's a third party, but it's like a Oh man, I really want to use the technical term for it. Aggregate. So it pulls from all the different sources and puts it in one central location.
Okay, podcast addict.
Yeah, that's actually how I pulled. That's how I download this podcast addict, because you
Ah,
know it's on the tunes, but me being an actual phone user and
we're
not
also
a
on SoundCloud.
um yeah, me being an actual phone user and not a Mattel toy user, um, I use podcast addict. Yes, that it was a
Gotcha. I'm
dig,
about to download it.
and that was a dig for all you iPhone folks.
Yeah,
The
I
fact
caught
that
that.
the fact that my mama uses the same phones y'all use lets me know it's child's play.
Terrible. Um. So yeah, definitely listen to it. I know you're gonna be here and there. But definitely I want to revisit some of that. It doesn't have to be Wild We podcast, but definitely offline. Definitely want to talk to you
Yeah, it's funny.
about some of the conversation.
Not to not that I'm going into it thinking that it's a loaded request, but one of my products of what he's talking about in this interview, friends, um, she asked me to listen to it. It's one of my old heads. And as soon as she sent me the link, I had already saw the YouTube clip of the title. I was like,
but you know what though, that ain't even what I want you to see. I want you to see when him and Envy really start going at it about schools. And I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, all right, man. Because yeah, I agree, and I've talked to a number of educators in the contiguous 48 that also would agree that the school system has gone to shit.
Well, that ain't the conversation they're having. It's to the conversation of the white man's ice is colder.
Shit! I might have to break my promise, because when you asked me that question, not to prolong this much longer, but when you asked me that question about had I ever been in a racist or prejudiced situation, the first thing that came to mind was a certain teacher that everyone loves from my high school that hit me with, why would you want to go to that school? It's not going to be as good as another school. I heard him tell another young lady this because she wanted to go to Spelman. And he was like, why would you want to go to that school? That school isn't as good as blah blah blah.
Wait
And
a
I
minute.
was like,
So you said so that narrows it down. Well, we'll talk about this offline. Really?
man, bro. I'm talking about I immediately that afternoon got to the house. I called Mark. Mark left work early. The next morning we was in the principal office. We was in the principal office talking about it. I was like, bro, what? Huh? How can you make that statement? You don't know that.
But you know what? That's how he can make that statement, because he doesn't know. And I know that's like a simplistic way of looking at it and answering your question,
right.
but
It's easy to say shit when you're ignorant. Oh.
Yeah, but you know what though? I can't fault him for his ignorance. However, if you're an educator and you're trying to give sound advice to somebody, if you're trying to give wise counsel to somebody about something, know what the fuck you talking about. Especially when it comes to some cultural like that.
Yeah, and I think that's why I would hold an educator, because that is the basis of your livelihood, is to educate. And if you yourself aren't educated on a subject, why would you further perpetuate something that you are unsure of?
Listen, there are millionaires that went to Howard. There are millionaires that went to Grambling. There are millionaires that went to FAM. And then there's plenty of people who went to UGA or Georgia Tech or Florida State who only making $30,000 a year and are $100,000 in debt.
Who like to do blow and get pissed on.
Or suck a dick so this fire festival can get popping. but they still got a little bit of bread. I still ain't watched all that yet, but
Yeah.
but yeah, man, like I get it, and to not to give too much of it away, but the point is that you are the sum of your actions. Yes, it may look nice to have school X, Y, and Z on your on your resume, but what are you gonna do when you get the job? You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? Like there is a true conversation to be had about certain schools looking better on a resume. I get that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, are you going to do the work? If not,
It's only
then
gonna
you might as
carry you
well
so far.
take your ass to ABC Community College
Yeah.
and
Because
save you some money and learn a trade.
yeah, because at the end of the day, the name that resume is only gonna take you so far because you're gonna get in front of that one person interviewing you, and they ain't gonna give two shits
Or
about
a
this
panel
school.
interview.
Look, this school that you went to, however many years ago, that you came out of it by the heads of your chin.
Right. And
Because
this conversation is so funny because I've been binge watching A Different World. I'm on the last 2 episodes and I can't watch it. I'm getting sad. But Dwayne Wayne's friend came and was like, yeah, man, you should come over to Brown. I'll give you some information. And then they were playing basketball and, you know, his homeboy would say a fact about Brown. He would score. Then Dwayne would say a fact about Hillman and their history. And then he would score. And, you know, the TV show or the storytelling, you know, every time he would make a point that was even better, it'd be a better move that he put on him. And then he finally dunked on him and was like, you know, we have X amount of people working for Fortune 500 or something like that. So yeah, this conversation has been going on for a long time,
yeah,
a very long time.
and it's unfortunately its foundations are ignorance. Like to promote and perpetuate an ideal that your school, because it's more expensive or because your buildings happen to be better, are going to instill a better education into the students that matriculate through there is stupid. Because at the end of the day, education is more than uh, what you digest between the front and back cover of a book. Education is everything. It's the book and some. If
It's all
me going
encompassing.
exactly, if all you give me is book sense and I cross your stage, then you have failed me because that book sense means nothing in the workforce.
It means nothing. And that debt means a lot more to me.
Exactly.
Because like Ebro, and to wrap it up, Ebro, he made a post a couple of weeks ago. He's like, so let me understand this. You're paying $30,000 a semester for 4 years to get a $30,000 a year job. Huh?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
what's the point? What's the
Yeah.
point? What's the purpose?
But see that right there, that's university as a whole because there are way
Right.
too
Yeah.
many first world countries out here giving free education, and guess what? And their quality of living is much improved based on what we have there in the U.S. So what you're telling me is we're gonna keep charging you, and since the '80s, I want to say there was a interview or something in the early 2000s. It basically said from 81 until like '05 that the rate of which children were being charged for their education had grown 400%. But the education is still the same. You're still using the same
Right.
ragged ass textbook from '80. So
Right.
what cost went up? Riddle me that.
These fire ass apartment style dorms. That's pretty much it.
Talking about the ones they threw up in 3 months and they're gonna be renovating in another 6 years. Get out of here.
Yeah, basically. All right. So I have to get up out of here. Apparently, my son has woke up and is crying for me.
All right now.
Yeah, he loved me when he don't love the one he with. Like
Understood.
when I kept him Thursday,
Yeah.
mommy at work,
He
mommy
was tired.
coming.
Yeah.
No, she ain't coming. She at work, bro. She'll be here when she get here. I can literally hear him crying. Ha, that's terrible. Boss, say something positive to the people.
Be your best self. Don't measure other people with your ruler because that sets you up for failure.
There you go. Speaking of rulers, I realized that size does matter the moment I put my old iPhone up to my new iPhone. But keep in mind, all you women, regular women out there that want to be size queens, porn stars typically prefer smaller penises because it gets to that G spot a lot easier. Because your G spot is not 10 inches inside of your vagina. It's maybe just 2 inches and up and to the left.
2 to 3.
2 to 3. Which is 2 to 3 is well below the average. So if you got somebody that can give you 2 to 3, they can still get the job done.
Hey.
I love you all. Tell 5 friends to tell 5 more friends. Like, subscribe, comment, share, post, all that good stuff. Jamal, you know the usual. Can I please get a chill so we can close this out?
Tell 10 friends. Chill.